a statement or just?
Yes. Well, I just want to say thanks again. This is our 4th National Signing Day, and to echo what Coach Stoops said, it's probably our best one from top to bottom. But I also want to thank a lot of you guys who cover us. A lot of our players I talked to, the guys that's going to be future players here, you guys called them, interviewed them, they get a kick out of that. So, I told them this is not a basketball, just all basketball. We football, we coming, and a lot of them guys got a kick out of it. So that's my opening statement. Take questions. How good is Lim? I'm kind of like Coach Stoops. I was a good player too coming out of Youngstown, and I remember my brother told me, this guy is better probably in 30 years. And I started thinking of Maurice Claret, who was the #1 player in the country, Mario Manningham. Man, so many guys that come out of there. But, everybody from their hometown, you have a guy that you check references with, and everyone I talk to say this kid he's just unbelievable. And when Thayer Mumford was on a visit, I'm pretty sure I can say that because he's signed now. His high school coach, Coach Moore, who was at Massillon, one of the top schools in the state of Ohio, they were beating them 21-7. He seen Lynn on an official visit, and he said, that kid, we were up 21-7 at halftime. We ended up losing 41-38. He had 7 touchdowns in the second half. Now, Massillon football is the mecca of Ohio, Massillon and Canton. So that told me right then again how good that kid was. So he's good. He's still got to come here and improve, but he's good.
Vince, Coach Stoops talked about initially identifying these players. Now, when does that process begin with most of these players that signed today?
We're already on to the 18 guys probably a month ago as we start, trying to close this class out. I remember when we first had our 13 class and we were like 27, and, I made a statement that our class would be even better next year. And I think a couple guys, like Coach Stoops, they laughed and they looked at me like, what? And we was a 17 class. So we recruiting. When I'm going in to finish them seniors, I'm already, talking to the coach about the juniors and the sophomores. So we already on to the 18 and 19 guys right now. So it starts and never finishes.
Vince, Jay Beyonce played several positions in high school. Did you all always see him as a wide receiver?
Yeah, in recruiting you have connections, and a guy, his high school coach, Devin Culliver, was a high school teammate of me and Coach Stoops. And the first time, I think he committed to us early, so you kind of forget about him. But he is a big, good-looking dude, man. He's about 6'5", about 230 right now. And when we first watched his film, we liked him as a receiver, but we tried to hide Coach Stoops from him because he was playing defense too. And I think Alabama liked him as like an outside linebacker. They offered him, liked him as an outside linebacker. But he's a big, nice-looking athlete that's, he's another basketball guy that I look at and say, if you got a guy playing basketball, play football, them the type of guys you want to recruit. So, yeah, we like everything about him.
He keeps growing and developing. Did you end up stealing him for your position?
Well, when you recruit him, you don't want to tell him that. He's one of them guys that he's still fast, though. He's going to be a legit 4-5 guy. I mean, we play against some of these guys. When we first got here, we didn't have none of them guys. So now we want to line up 6'5" on outside, 6'6", 6'4", them the type of guys we wanted. We wanted length, and now we got it. So now he'll stay at wide receiver. Now, if he get to 250, he'd probably be in my room. So he'll tell his mom that.
Is there a sleeper maybe that you like in this class?
Yeah, Nasir Watkins out of Good Counsel. He's about 6'6", about 305, don't look it. But he only played really 1 year at offensive lineman. I think his potential is through the roof. He's a smart kid. Did well in that league. There's a lot of D1 guys. Got a guy going to Texas A&M, a guy going to Ohio State. He did pretty well against them. He said the hardest guy he went against though was Joshua Pascal. So, he got good work every day. So he's my sleeper in that group.
How important was it to go to Maryland and extend that pipeline there?
Well, if some of you guys follow recruiting, I think he had came out a while back. We weren't even in this top 10. And Coach Stoops came to me and said, I want you to go up there and recruit him. And I think the problem was he had an older brother here that was part of not winning. So his dad wasn't really trying to hear that. So we had to go there and sell the family first. And like Coach Stoops said, what really sold him when he came to the Georgia game, and he called his dad immediately and said, this is not what you think, Dad. He said, this is unreal, this atmosphere. And he was sold right then and there and never wavered. Penn State and other schools came in and tried to take him, but I knew he was pretty solid.
Vince,
So much has changed in recruiting, the technology side and all, but I'm curious about what has not changed and what will never change about recruiting, successful recruiting.
What will never change is that you still got to go in them schools, win that coach over, and then when it's time to have a physical contact, you got to win them parents over. And you got to find the person who's the decision maker in that prospect's, decision. Some people get caught up thinking it's the high school coach, and it's not. It could be the girlfriend, it could be the uncle. One kid I was recruiting, there was a lady that worked in the community, that worked at a store. I found out and, went down there and bought a soda and had a little conversation with her. So you got to find out who the players is in the thing. The one thing will never change. You still got to build relationships. That will never change. I don't care how high-tech things get. You still got to get guys to go out and have good relationship with parents and people. That it will never change.
Speaking of something that has changed, I think Jordan Wright was having some fun on social media yesterday, kind of hinting that maybe he may flip. How aware are you of?
Man, I was on it soon when that tweet came out. He was just having fun with y'all. He was solid. I asked Coach Grant, that's the recruiter. I said, "Hey Eddie, oh, he's good. He's good." So we have guys, believe it or not, that watch everything, and they'll tell us. I mean, if a kid even, say the wrong vowel, they're gonna tell us. So it's like we always on it. We're gonna be on it no matter what. This is a big business, so you got to be on it.
We've had so much success selling potential
The last few years, how different was it being able to sell some success?
Yeah. When we first got here, we were selling a dream, and what it was going to become, facilities, all that. You're still selling the SEC, but eventually we had to win that signature game to make them say, "Whoa, okay, everything they selling now is coming true." And I can tell you this: when our coaches went out that first in December, I had a lot of people telling me our coaches were walking in them schools with a swag, and everybody was talking about the Louisville game. And what it did for me in Ohio was, we always had our logo is very strong there. It just kicked in the door now that you say, okay, you beat a top 10 school, the Heisman guy and all that. So to me, that win was huge. I can't even say how big that win was. It was huge for us.
Vince, you talked about liking it when some of the media call these kids and interview them. What do you not like seeing the media do?
Well, the flip side is that when they get a lot of information about who we recruiting, and we may be recruiting 4 DBs, and somebody may write a story and say, we taking 4 corners. Well, that's not true. We may be taking 2 corners and 2 safeties. But another recruiting site that's for another school will say, well, they taking 4 corners. Or we taking 6, I think we got 7 D linemen. Well, they all ain't DN. Some of them got to be 3 techniques, some got to be 5s, and some got to be jacks. So that's what we were facing with coming down with Pascal and some other guys, that we took just 7 D linemen. So sometimes that can hurt us too. So you kind of say, we thank you guys for your support covering us, but sometimes you can hurt us too. So, but that's my job to keep it, just keep them kids in it.
This time last year, I think you said that this was going to be one of the best years ever in Ohio. Did it pan out that way? And then what do you see this year coming up?
I will go on the record of saying this, and we signed the best player in Ohio. Lynn Bolden is the best player in Ohio. And if you ask probably 30 reporters that cover Ohio football, they all will say he's the best player in Ohio. Sometimes when you don't go to the other school, now he may be the second best player or the third best player. But Ohio was very loaded. We got what we got out of Ohio from top to bottom. It's just that we wanted to span, and then when you hired Coach Grand and Henshaw and Lamar, it just, before we take 11 guys out of Ohio. Now, Eddie did such a good job in Florida. The numbers went down, but also, I went to Maryland and got the 2 kids out of Maryland. Then Phil Hawkins is really from Ohio, but we went to Kansas City to get him. So it was good. It's actually even better. 18 is more, it's really deep for 18. So, Florida and Ohio is 2 top 4 states that produce football players, so we always going to be there. Always going to be there.
Do you and Eddie have any kind of back and forth trying to get more signees or any bets or anything?
Man, I'm going to tell you, Jen, sometimes when you sign a lot of players, you got to do I got to take a lot of trips, driving here, going there. So, no, I just sign. We get guys who fit our program. It just so happened, I think, because the numbers in Florida and the numbers in Ohio are bigger. I'm a competitor. Yeah, we gonna battle, but I'm for wherever we get players from, as long as we bring in good players.
How important was it to get back into Florida to get some guys?
Very well. it was very important. You know, that's what Mark wanted. We knew we was going to have Ohio. We knew we was going to put a fence around Kentucky. We just needed to get, you know, Florida. And I think Coach Grant, Coach Henshaw, and Coach Thomas has done a real good job down there. That was very important.
There are a lot of guys who are just considered athletes in this class. What do you tell them in the recruiting process? Do you give them a position, or how does that discussion go?
Well, if you recruiting a safety or a DB, we tell them you can play nickel, you can play corner, you can play safety. Now, if you're just a straight guy that's just a corner, and we may just say we want to take a shutdown corner. Same thing as wide receiver. We want versatile guys that can play inside, outside. I mean, like a guy like Lynn Bolton can play. I mean, honestly, he can play a lot of positions. He can play inside, he can play out, he can play tailback, he can play quarterback. But I think he's good enough to even go over to play defense and probably start in the secondary as a secondary guy, as a DB. So we recruit athletes and we place them, but we do have a specific, you know, position that we tell them they're going to play, though.
Jen was another one of those guys listed as an athlete. Where do you see him being?
I'll tell you. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll tell you one thing about Ty. I call him Ty. But he committed so early. We had to battle a lot of schools to get this kid. I mean, it came down to Michigan, and Michigan State was still trying to get him like the last week in this recruiting cycle. But he's a guy, when I first seen him, Estes Wall, one of our recruiting guys, he brought him to me a year and a half ago, and I thought I offered him as a wide receiver. But of course, you know, our boss is a secondary guy. He came and watched his film, and we moved him over to defense. So he's like, if you see, like some of the services had Lynn, like the number 1 and number 2 athlete in the country, and he's like number 4 or 5. So the same type of player. I mean, not almost the same type of player. So, you know, with him, he just, I mean, I know Coach Klinkskill is very excited about him. He gives us so much that you can do. And he kind of reminds me of Mike Edwards a little bit, probably a little bigger Mike Edwards.
Another guy who committed pretty early. What do you like about him?
He's another one. Great pass rusher. Can bend, played at a high level, played in a big conference. And, you know, we beat Tennessee, Michigan State out for this kid, Wisconsin. But he was a guy where, and I got to give shit out to moms, his mom really protected this kid from other schools. Like, she would tell the high school coach, don't pull my son out of class. And one time he did it one time, and I don't think that worked out well. So we need to really give her a shout out. She really, and some of the other moms on the staff in this recruiting class, they were very strong helping us, you know, keep their kids, you know, committed.
Folks, there, thank you very much. Got the other assistant coaches across the hall.
Thank you, guys.